How's it going, folks? Stu here. Tea very much firmly at the ready this week. We're late. No other way to put it. I'm like weeks late on this video. You have my apologies. But I guess it's time for another last month on Letterboxd, isn't it? We've had another month swing past us, that one being July. A good month, July. Famous mostly for coming after June, and it rained a lot. What more could you ask for? Just a little pre-warning, quickly realising it was a terrible idea to go for a hot drink and a jumper while I filmed this. So give me like 10 minutes, you might not even recognise me under the layers of sweat. Absolutely nailed it, Stu. Give him a late video and repulse him in the first 20 seconds. This is, it's only uphill, innit? Only uphill from here. That's right, July. It very much just sort of came and went, didn't it? Absolutely flew through. I saw some good ones. Should we look at them? I'm gradually, and you guys are going to see this, just running out of ways to nicely introduce what we're doing in these videos, which is going through a list of films on Letterboxd. You guys don't care. You're just here to see the films. Look at them. There they are. Wow, the power of editing. A decent little month for films. Shorter than other ones, I think. Just looking at it now, I'm like, that is a smaller indent in my Letterboxd diary. Shit. Ignore it all. Ignore everything I just did. I've forgotten to even ask you to go and follow me on Letterboxd. So down there, in the description is a link to my profile. Go there, click follow, and you can see all of this in real time through the month. Crazy scenes. Now the housekeeping's out of the way. Now we can go back to the stuff I just did. Whoa, look. Short month, all blah, blah, blah. Where do we start with July? The 5th, apparently. I went 4 days at the beginning of July, just didn't watch a film, apparently. What was I doing? Probably picking a film. Am I right? Or am I bloody right? But I started the month off with Fear Street 1994, which is the first of a 3-part event that Netflix were doing, which is a trilogy of films where they release one every week. It was quite fun. And then then everyone moved on with their lives. But I was not expecting to enjoy Fear Street as much as I did. I was going to do a review on the full trilogy on the channel, but I didn't, because I just ran out of time to. There's not much else to the story there. But yeah, it was screaming at me to not enjoy this. Like, everything about these films should have really cringed me out and just fallen flat. But for some reason it clicked and I had a real hoot of a time. Took a while to find its feet, but from the second act onwards, this thing was a ride, man. Had such a hoot. We love slashers and people were slashed, so I'm happy. I mean, it's true. People were slashed. Tick the box. The first half, yeah, was definitely sort of like, I don't know, it feels like your typical kind of cringy teen, young adult plot and screenplay. Doesn't usually rub well with me. But then, yeah, as soon as it sort of found the swing of things, I actually thought it was a really fun time. I think it had fun with itself, which is ultimately a good thing at the end of the day. Judging by what everyone else I follow said about it, I think I'm in the minority of people that actually did have a really good time with this, so there's that. 3.5 stars. But then I went on from slashers to very much not slashers with Princess Sid, which I watched on, what is that, July the 8th. Does it matter about the dates? Why do I keep bringing the dates up? This was a real delight, Princess Sid. I had no idea what it was going into it. This was one of those watches where I had an evening and I was like, what do I watch? I don't have anything planned. Nothing I particularly want to watch in my mind. So I went to Mubi, as you do, where my watch list is just filling up gradually. And I just picked something that was like under 90 minutes and looked nice. This was just absolutely lovely. No other word for it. I'm admittedly a complete sucker for chilled out coming of age indies. This really did tick all the boxes there. I mean, you guys know at this point, I love me a feel-good, little chilled-out coming-of-age indie. But it's just got this really nice sort of quaint, summery feel. I like the low-budgetness of it. I think that really shines. Didn't know who Jessie Pinnock was before this, and afterwards I was like, yeah, she's great. Want to see more from her. I'll admit, though, something about the screenplay kept tripping itself up a little too often, which did kind of prevent me falling in love with it the way I know I could have. Yeah, as much as I say I had a lovely time, and I did, and I really enjoyed it, I know I could have loved this film. That's a frustrating thing when you watch a film. You're like, I know I should be absolutely adoring this, and I can see the pieces that aren't quite lining up to get there. And the screenplay was definitely one of those. It had that, I don't know, low budget indie screenplay feel. That's the trap that sometimes they fall into, where it's like you're a bit aware that you're trying to say really nice, poignant things instead of just saying normal things. So I gave it 3.5 stars, didn't I? But next up, we watched the second chunk of the Fear Street trilogy event. I'm not calling it an event anymore. It's a trilogy of films. This one was set in 1978, and I think this is probably my favorite one of the three, just because I'm such a sucker for, like, camp in the woods slashers, right? Just what a vibe. get me in every time. Part of me would love to be ripping on these, but honestly, they're just hashtag whipping quite hard. Really enjoyed this. Also, Wet Hot American Summer has forever cursed all summer camp movies. I don't know if anyone else feels this, but every time I now see like a camp on film, it just takes me to Wet Hot American Summer, and I expect the dumbest shit, which I guess maybe hinders a lot of films like this, because I'm immediately like, this is going to be funny as hell, which isn't fair to the guys that are making films that aren't meant to be funny as hell. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. Liked the old school summer setting. I think more so than the first one, this one had like a very clear tone that it knew it was going for, and that it's landing throughout all of it. So I enjoyed that. It was nice to see it all in this one very clear old school vibe. Cool shit. I liked it. 3.5 stars. We're getting a bit tired of 3.5 stars, aren't we, at this point? Let's see if the next film I watched could break that little chain. Looks like it bloody well did. It was Lake Mungo, which is a rewatch. I haven't seen this film for so long, and I loved it when I first saw it when it came out. When was that? 2008. What is that? 13 years ago. Mental scenes. I actually picked up the second sight release of this on Blu-ray because I needed to own Lake Mungo physically. And yeah, as I said, I was a little worried this wouldn't hold up after so many years. Pleased to report it absolutely still rips. Such a good tone throughout. So many moments that give me the chills, and I completely forgot about some of the scares. Yeah, it kind of quickly alleviated my worries. I still really enjoyed it. I still got really sucked into it. I think it does such a good job with the atmosphere. And I'd completely forgotten about basically where half this film went. All I remembered was this one moment at the end which fucked me up when I first saw it, and it still did that. If you haven't seen Lake Mungo, you're probably seeing a lot of people talk about Lake Mungo because it is growing in its sort of cult status. It's absolutely as good as everyone says. Loved it. 4 stars for Lake Mungo. We broke the streak of 3.5. Not that those are bad scores to give to films, but we made it. We did it. We got to a 4 star. Should probably calm the celebrations a little bit because we then knocked a little bit down with Black Widow, which I saw on the 14th. What did I have to say about Black Widow? I do actually have a full review on the channel. Who'da thunk? So look, pop up there, link down there. You can see my full thoughts. But what did I say about it on Letterboxd? Keeping it brief because I'll be dropping a full review shortly on the channel. But this was all right. I like Pew. I like Vice. I really did keep it brief, didn't I? Not much to talk about on that. I do like Pew, and I do like Rachel Weisz. 3 stars. But then I moved on to another Stephen Cohn film, who you might remember from mere minutes ago, directed Princess Sid, which was the second film I watched in July. I just spilt tea on myself. That was sneaky. Henry Gamble's Birthday Party. This is another one that was on Mubi. As I said, they were doing like a Stephen Cohn thing over there, which they like to do for directors. This was another one that was on there. So I checked it the heck out, didn't I? Disappointed with this one. Like, especially coming off of Princess Sid, I was like, man, this guy has got a knack for really quaint indie films. I'm going to have a good time with all of his films. No, I didn't really enjoy Henry Gamble's Birthday Party that much. This should have been everything I love about super low budget indies. It sort of ended up swinging and missing. The whole thing felt super contrived and forced. I think the fault lies pretty consistently on the writing. Character and dialogue wise, didn't ever really click with it. Yeah, I found myself really wanting to enjoy everything that was happening, and it never clicked, really. The whole thing is this kind of one location thing with loads of characters at this kid's birthday party, and just none of it felt natural. Nice moments though, but yeah, just weird ones. So I gave it 2.5 stars, which is just bang straight in the middle. But what did we watch next? We watched Fear Street, the third one. It's not called that, it's called Fear Street 1666. And look, if you've seen this, you might be a bit surprised by the fact that I've given it 3.5 stars. Oh, spoiler, we usually say that to the end of the review. Let's have it now. 3.5 stars, you bloody bastards. And I say you might be surprised because, I mean, it is objectively not great, I'll be honest. And I know objectively, subjectively can be like, you know, there's no real such thing as objective good in film, but like, there kind of is when it comes to accents, right? And the accents in this film, unbelievably bad, to the point that it does genuinely suck me out of everything that's going on for a large portion of this film. But once I got past those accents, I did have fun, and I really enjoyed the end of this. Like, I really enjoyed the end of this film. Could have been my favorite of the trilogy, but yeah, yeah, the accents are a thing. I really wasn't clicking big time with the first half. Then luckily the second half just straight up whips, completely landed the ending, really satisfyingly tied up the trilogy. But yeah, I was worried this film would be like the entire runtime would be set in 1666 with all these accents. And I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but it's not. And I enjoyed that they knew when to get the fuck out of that setting because it wasn't really working. So yeah, we'll have it again, 3.5 stars. What do we go after that? We went back to some Brian De Palma with Raising Cain. It's been a while since I'd had a nice little Brian De Palma binge. You'll remember, I think, what was that, in May? Within the last month on Letterboxd I had a nice old Brian De Palma session. And I'd slipped out for a bit. So in the middle of July, I thought, you know what? I want to slip back into De Palma. Did I have to phrase it like that? So I watched Raising Cain, which I've owned on Blu-ray for years and never got round to watching. Not as immediately breathtaking as some of De Palma's other stuff, still a ridiculously good time, loved the climax, just has a lot of fun with itself whilst also knowing how to deliver its plot expertly. Dig it. It's kind of like, to me, a better Dressed to Kill in that it was like if Dressed to Kill had more fun, didn't take itself too much more seriously, but took a lot of that problematic shit out and just kind of went for it and had a mad time, a good time, enjoyed it. I also like John Lithgow going for it in this film in a really engaging way. Fun times. 4 stars. But next was another rewatch for me on a very hungover day. And you know what? While we're on the subject of hangovers, I've got to bring this up. It's got to be addressed. Peter from Game Over Reviews. Look, I've let you down. I've let you down. There's no other way around it. On last month's video, Peter said to me, when you asked on Twitter for hangover films, I spent 2 hours going through my collection to come up with a magnificent suggestion of Amelie. He did. I expect to see it on July's list, brackets, and you also have to be hungover, close brackets, or there's gonna be some kind of trouble. Peter, I've let you down. I've let my family down. More importantly though, I've let myself down because I didn't watch Amelie on my hungover day in July. And so please accept this as my fondest, sincerest apologies. I should and will be looking inwards on myself over the next few weeks in a moment of reflection. Hopefully I can come back stronger. And hopefully I can rebuild what we had and what we've lost. It's just not acceptable. I went for a Tarantino film. I'm sorry. I thought it was there. I was gonna go for Amelie. I really was. But I just bought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on 4K. I hadn't given it a spin. I had to watch it. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's a film that I really loved when I first saw it in cinemas. But I really loved it this time. Like, this is... it's so good. It's so good. You'd think hungover, can't be dealing with long films. This thing flies by, and I just enjoy it more every time I watch it. This shit ages like a fine wine. Thought it was great on my first watch. This time I loved it in capital letters, which means I mean I loved it. So much to soak in here. Also, absolutely flies by for me. Am I alone on this? I don't think I'm alone on that. But I do feel like a lot of people didn't really love this film as much as they've loved other Tarantino films. But I really do love it. I think it's so good. 4.5 bloody stars for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What a cracker. But the next bunch of films were from my Sundance Film Festival London coverage, if you want to call it that. So there are full reviews for them on the channel, which I'll link to, but we'll bring them up anyway. Coda, watched on Friday the 30th, first film of Sundance Film Festival London for me, one which I was incredibly excited for. Didn't disappoint, 3.5 stars, just thought it was lovely. But I said I was not warned about third act Joni Mitchell, cried like a baby. It's true, you can't just drop that on a guy. It's true, I did also cry like a baby at the end of this film. I've since rewatched this film, but that was in August, so no mentioning of that here. Mention that in the next one. Who knows whether my thoughts and my rating went up or down on that. There's a little teaser, a little hint for last month on Letterboxd. Get excited. I then had a 3-film day, which was always fun. I hadn't had one of those in a while at Sundance, which saw me seeing a kind of comedy, then a Holocaust documentary, and then a very tense drama. So I kind of got a lot of the spectrum on one day there, didn't I? Together, again, lovely little film. Have done a full review, so you can check my thoughts out on the link there somewhere. Wholly lovely platonic times. Patty Harrison is so great. Egg Helms is great. Film was a delight. Short and sweet. Not much else to say. Had a hoot. Look at my full thoughts. 3.5 stars again. And then I saw Misha and the Wolves, which is a documentary about a woman's somewhat unbelievable and just kind of, I mean, it is crazy, survival story during the Holocaust, which is obviously a very serious topic. Didn't know much about this going in. Was still I don't know, disappointed by this. The way this thing is put together really rubbed me the wrong way, and it doesn't even really bother to interrogate the stuff it claims to be there to do. I'll go into a bit more detail here because I haven't done a full review on the channel for this yet, and I don't know if I will, to be honest. This film is edited and put together and scored and directed in a really puzzling way. Like not that it's, oh wow, this is hard to keep up with puzzling, but in a like, why are you doing it like this puzzling? It feels very sensationalized, and it takes a lot of the moments and it really heightens things to make it like, boom, whoa, that was crazy. And I just don't feel like that's the right style to go for this, especially given that it's supposedly interrogating the sensationalism of stories in media. So I've got to the last half and I was like, what are you saying? Like, what is the point in this documentary? And it will argue a certain point. And I saw the Q&A, they did argue a certain reason for making this documentary, but it only made me more puzzled by the documentary. So I gave it 2.5 stars, definitely the worst I saw at Sundance Film Festival. But I'm going to say I do recommend watching it and checking it out for yourself. But then I finished the month with a drama, The Nest, which is another film I've been really excited for. And again, I've done a full review for it. So link up there, link down there if you want to check it out. And I kept my review very short and sweet because I like to do that on Letterboxd, obviously. And I said, Carrie fucking Coon. Don't need to say much else. I know people are annoyed sometimes about like really short, funny reviews on Letterboxd, like write something of worth. Fuck off. Carrie Coon. Carrie fucking Coon, to be precise. 4 stars for that one. Definitely ended July on a good one there because, you know, we had some slip-ups along the way. We had some 2.5 stars. No one wants to see those in your month. But we came back around and we landed this baby in spectacular fashion with a nice 4 stars. So, yeah, can't really ask for much more, can we? I mean, we can. We could ask for a 4.5 or a 5. Even maybe. But what about you guys? What did you get up to in July? Film stuff, not just like general. I mean, you can tell me your general life stuff if you want. But what did you watch in July? Let me know down in the comments below. We'll have a chat. Of course, go ahead and follow me on Letterboxd. The link is down there, so you can see my thoughts on films like this in real bloody time. So you don't have to come here at the end of every month. Still do come and watch this at the end of each month, but you know, just nice to be over there when it's happening. See you guys soon for some more thoughts and also a bloody old Q&A that I've got to do. It is coming, don't worry. Just been very, very busy on other stuff at the moment. Also got some thoughts of films that I'm seeing at the Edinburgh Film Festival dropping on the channel in a couple of days. So look out for that. But until next time, stay beautiful, stay safe. Let's all start a prayer circle that I can get the next last month on Letterboxd out on time, please. I promise I won't be midway through September. It'll be at the end of it. Am I right? No, it won't.